Welcome to a new episode on the Technomora channel. We really hope you will enjoy watching it and invite you to tell us what you think of it by leaving your reactions below the video. And now, please allow me to present your host, Technomora.
Thank you, Julie, and welcome, dear viewers. Now, a few days ago I decided I would take a break from working on my power supply series and do something else instead. Now, about a year and a half ago on the internet, I found something that was reasonably priced and which is from the era that I like a lot, which is the 70s, let's say late 70s, early 80s. And some of you might already have guessed what it is. So I'll show you. And the brand is Crown, and the type number or the model number is 5TV-525R. And yes, it's a combination or a combo, like they say, TV and radio of the brand Crown. Now, the thing really looks sorry for itself. It has had a very rough life, and it's very dirty, and it's rusty and scratched and dinged, and yeah, I mean it's a wreck. Alright, to open up the combo, there are, as far as I can tell, 5 screws to undo. So here, there, then on the opposite side there are 2 more, here and there, and there's one in the middle right here. Alright, we're looking at the combo upside down, so this is the bottom side of the combo. And now that we unscrewed the bottom part, you can simply slide it backwards like this and then lift it up. Now, before I did this, I also unmounted the carrying bracket and the TV cover, or at least part of the TV cover, which you see here. Alright, so this is simply clipped on to the front of the TV, and you can simply unclip it by gently pushing this frame to the left or the right and then pulling it forward. And the picture tube is right there. Alright, so the type of picture tube is, as far as I can tell, is an 11OFB4. Perhaps, I don't know, I can't see all of the label, but I would think yes. It says down there, it says type number, I'm guessing, and that would be 11O or 110 FB4. Alright, but that's all very nice and good, but I need to be down there at the end of the neck of the picture tube, because there's the connector. So you start counting the pins from the key. Alright, and the key is right here. This is the key opening. So pin 1, pin 2, pin 3 is where I have my red clip connected to, and pin 4 is where I have my black clip connected to. Alright, and then you have 5, 6, and 7. Alright, so let's measure the resistance I'm on the 200 ohm setting. There you go, 28.7 ohms. So my guess is yes, more than likely the filament is alright. Okay, so I think there's a good chance we'll be able to make this function. Now, by the way, to reach the end of the picture tube, I slid the antenna shield up and out of the up and out of the case of the combo, but as you can tell, it's in not too good a shape anymore. It's flaky and whatever, but it slides out of here. Okay, so right here there's a rail, so and you can just pull this up gently up, and then you can reach the neck of the picture tube down there quite easily. And I disconnected the connector by gently rocking it back and forth and pulling on it. Yeah, the key word is gently. Okay, if you're going to put too much force on it in any direction, you might break the picture tube, so be careful. Also, picture tubes are notorious for imploding. Alright, so, and right after they implode, they explode, so you might get seriously hurt. Alright, so be gentle if you do this. Alright, so the picture tube is grounded to the main board of the combo, and the grounding is via this braided wire you see here, and it runs all the way up to here, in fact, right there. Okay, so right now normally you can unhook this braided cable down there. There's somewhere a spring down there, and you can unhook it. But right now, instead of trying to unhook it and maybe damage the picture tube, what I'm going to do for now is unsolder the braided wire contact right here. Alright, so we can discern, roughly speaking, three parts on the main board of the combo. Alright, I haven't had a look at the schematic yet, but what you do notice immediately is the high voltage transformer of the TV right here, and then what I presume is a tuner block, so this box here. Then I'm still guessing, but I think this would be then the IF section right after the tuner block, and then you have all the nuts and bolts which create the actual image on the screen of the picture tube. Okay, so the horizontal deflection, the vertical deflection, the luminance, etc., etc., the contrast, you name it. Yeah, so, and that would be around about this part of the PCB. Alright, so those who know my channel and who have watched me restore appliances before know that it's my habit to replace all the electrolytics before I move on and fire up an appliance. I know some of you might say, yeah, but is it worth it? I mean, all the time and effort and the money to replace the electrolytics? I would say yes. If you're going to leave in a an old electrolytic and the electrolytic shorts out or is bad, there's every possibility that the TV, well, in this case, this TV, might be damaged even more. Okay, and in either way, I'm going to keep this combo as part of my collection. So the electrolytics in it are close to, let's say, 40 years old, so they should be, chemically speaking, pretty degraded by now. So yes, I'm going to replace them first, and when I'm done, we'll get on with the rest of the video. Alright, before I'm going to continue work on restoring and refurbishing the Crown Combo TV, I need to disconnect the anode of the picture tube, which is this little suction cup like clips. There you go. So what I I did actually was to pull back the rubber a little bit away from the body of the picture tube, and then with needle nose pliers, long needle nose pliers, I squeezed the little prongs you see there together gently, and I squeezed them together, and that way I could release them out of the little anode opening you see right there. Alright, but if you're going to do that, be really gentle as well with the cable as the picture tube, because remember, this is glass. If you're going to be rough with a picture tube, I think I told you before, picture tubes can implode or explode if you're unlucky. Okay, so be gentle. Now, the next thing that I'm going to remove is the actual tuner board, which is the PCB you see here. Alright, and I think, in my opinion, I've only to remove 2 screws. So you can see one down there, but there's actually another one down here where my thumb is. Alright, so I think if I release those 2 screws, I can safely remove the tuner PCB. Alright, I removed 2 fat short screws, the ones that I showed you on the print board of the tuner, and here it is. This is the tuner PCB, and it's loose. Now, luckily, apparently, the engineers who designed the Crown did think of making the PCB removable separately, meaning without the tuning mechanism you see down here. Alright, so because this, if you have to rewire this is a real pain. Yeah, so yeah, it looks like they built the Crown for, let's say, minimal ease of, well, for at least a little bit ease of disassembly for any tech who would have to work on it, fortunately. So, yeah, I removed the 2 screws I just showed you, and then it was just a simple matter of unclipping this PCB from this hook. So gently pushing down this hook and then lifting it up a little and pulling it back. Now, the potentiometer assembly you see down there and the tuning mechanism are still attached to the front bezel of the TV, and I need to be able to remove it, because my intention is, of course, to completely clean the cabinet of the TV combo. Now, luckily, I think they followed through with the same philosophy for the well, the potentiometer and tuning assembly. Yeah, meaning that they built a sort of a separate front plate to which is attached to the bezel with 2 big screws. You see one of them down there. So I think, with a bit of luck, just unscrewing the 2 fat screws at the bottom might release the whole assembly from the bezel. And I also have to release the picture tube from the bezel, you know, well, because I want to clean it, but also, you know, for a simple safety precaution. Alright, so it turned out I needed to unscrew 3 fat screws to the front assembly of the tuner, which is there. Okay, and the front assembly of the tuner seems to be independent from the tuner's PCB. Alright, I unmounted the front bezel from the UHF tuner tuning mechanism here. Alright, so just to clean it, of course, it's aluminum, and the way to do it is there are three little tabs on this front bezel here. So one tab is sticking out there, the other one is sticking out there, and there's another one sticking out down there. Okay, if you bend these tabs flat, so in that direction, you can wriggle out this front little bezel gently out of this plastic holder here. Now keep in mind that these little tabs can't be bent over and over and over, yeah? So if you're going to bend them flat, keep in mind that you'll only be able to do that once or twice, and then they will break off. So yeah, be very gentle with this, because as you can tell, it's really, really thin metal. Alright, so the smaller plastic parts are degreased and cleaned, and now they're soaking in clean tap water, and I'm going to concentrate myself now on cleaning the front bezel of the combo TV radio. Now before I can start cleaning this, I had to remove the protective cover of the picture tube, and here it is. Alright, so it's scratched and dirty, so I'll have to clean it first, and then I'll use some polishing compound afterwards to remove, let's say, at least the shallowest scratches. To remove the protective cover actually entails pushing up these clips on the inside of the front bezel. So you can see those slots down here and up there, through which these two clips fit. So what you need to do is to actually push these clips inward slightly, and then gently push on the inside of the protective cover. Now I use the trick to do that, so I use two, you could say, very thin wooden sticks with a blunt end, which I put underneath the clip, and then I levered them up slightly with the two wooden sticks while pushing on the inside of the cover. You need to be a little bit handy to do that, but if you do it gently, you know, with gentle force, you won't break anything, and in the end the clips will release. I thought you'd be interested to see what's inside one of these battery packs. There are two of them, but let's see what's inside. Okay, so I cut the tape which ran all around the battery pack, and I slit it up in the middle on both sides, and then with a wide screwdriver, I pried open the case in a corner, and then it suddenly released and opened up. So let's have a look. There you go. 4 nickel cadmium power cells. They don't look too fresh anymore. There you go. I don't think these can be reused. And in any case, cadmium is a poisonous metal, so I'm not going to keep these. Alright, before I start mounting back the whole device, let's say the whole TV and radio, back into the cabinet, I need to know whether every part of it works or not, and especially the TV part. Now, obviously, getting an image on the screen in this state is a bit dicey, but I'd be happy to see whether we can get the filament of the picture tube to glow, and whether we can get a raster on the screen. If we can't get either, then we know there's something wrong with the TV part of the combo, and then the fault tracing will start. And by the way, I will also give the radio a test to see whether that functions properly. So I propose that we now try out the TV part. I set up the screen, well, the picture tube, in such a way that none of its contacts come even close to the PCB, and I temporarily grounded it, and I'm going to connect it to the mains power and then slowly power it up to 224 volts AC. Alright, so yeah, I mean, I've never powered it up, so you will see what happens along with me. And this is a little bit, well, exciting would be the word. I connected up the anode, as you can tell, right here. Yeah, it's exciting, to say the least, especially in this kind of setup. And yeah, as luck has it, I had a power cable, the right power cable for the TV in my stash, which is wonderful, although it has an American plug, so that is not so good, but okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in to my variac, and I'm slowly going to turn up the voltage. Alright, so I'm going to switch it on with its own on-off switch, and in that way I can cut the power if something is going wrong. Alright, so well, here we go. Okay, let's push up the voltage a bit. I'm at 85 volts AC. I can't see a filament glow as yet. Okay, let's push it up to 100. Okay, I'm at 105 volts AC. Still can't see anything. I'm not smelling anything, so I'm not smelling anything burning. So let's push it up to 130 volts. Let's see if I cut the light. I still can't see anything changing. Let's push it up to 150. No. I still can't see anything. Alright, so I connected the multimeter with some crocodile leads to the AC connector, and I'm measuring the resistance. Remember, the on-off switch is jumped. Okay, so the line to line and neutral to neutral. So I should be able to measure a resistance on the primary of the transformer, and I'm going all the way up to 200 mega ohms, and I'm still getting an open lead message on the multimeter. So in other words, the primary of the transformer doesn't seem to be working. I do get a measurement on the secondary, but I measured in circuit, so I'm not certain the secondary of the transformer is good. So unfortunately, there's only one thing for me to do now, and that's to unmount the transformer and have a look at the transformer itself, whether it is broken or not. So the multimeter says open lead. So you can see here both leads of the transformer, are connected to both leads of the multimeter, and we get open lead. Let's see at a higher resistance. So this is the 200 kilo ohm range, nothing. 20 meg ohm range, still nothing. 200 meg, no. So yeah, the primary of the transformer is cooked, meaning that it's open. So probably the primary winding is open in several places at once, so not just in one spot. That's a pity. Okay, just for laughs, let's measure the secondary of the transformer. So the secondary of the transformer are these two red leads here. So let's just move the crocodile leads to the secondary. There, so that's one, and then I move the other one to here. There you go. Okay, it says 000, but we're in the highest measurement position, so 2 meg ohm. Let's go to 200 ohms. There you are. Around 6 ohms. So the secondary is good. It's the primary that is dead. Most unfortunate. So that means I have to start looking for another transformer. After doing some measurements on the power supply board, I just couldn't find any obvious faults, and I suspect that one of these switches you see here, so the one on the 220 AC input or the 12 volt DC input, or the selection switch on the power supply board itself, are faulty, or at the very least not conducting very well. And I'm also beginning to think that the actual on-off switch, which is depicted by this little switch here and these two here, alright, are just not working, or is just not working. So what I decided to do was to disconnect the B plus rail, so the wire in fact which leads the B plus coming from the power supply to the main board. I unsoldered it and I manually bridged it to do some measurements, and I'll show you what sort of measurements I get. Alright, so this is the power supply board, and the B plus output of the power supply board is this contact here. Alright, so you can see here I disconnected the B plus wire, which is this brown wire there, and via crocodile lead I connected it to my multimeter. And so when I touch the B plus here, this is what I measure. 10.5 volts plus DC, and you can hear the speaker is emitting noise, white noise. I switched on the TV beforehand, of course, and this is what I get on the screen. So I turned down the brightness, of course, but we're getting vertical deflection, but no horizontal. Alright, I attached my second multimeter to the wires of the horizontal deflection coil. So one of the wires is blue and the other is red, this one here. Alright, and this is the value I'm getting from measuring the deflection coil resistance. 1.1 ohms, which is low, but I would assume that's okay. It certainly means the deflection coil, the horizontal deflection coil, works. Now, I did notice when I turned the main board over, as you can tell, this blue wire was loose. It actually had broken off of the main board. So what I need to do is to reattach it and then see if, well, in all likelihood that was the problem, but let's see if this fixes the horizontal deflection. Alright, I soldered back the loose wire of the horizontal deflection coil. Let's see now what happens if we power up the TV part of the combo set. So here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, nice. Really nice. Okay, so we do seem to have full raster now. I ordered a replacement transformer for the transformer you see over there of the combo, the Crown combo, and I'm waiting for it, and normally this week it should arrive. And I hope, of course, that the dimensions of the replacement transformer will be similar to the old one. This one. Okay. So this is a 12 volt, 500 milliamps transformer. Okay. So the one I ordered is a 12 volt, 833 milliamps, and its size is pretty similar to this one. So technically the new transformer should fit inside the combo without too much trouble. Now, while I'm waiting for that new transformer, I can of course do other stuff, and one of the things that I could do is give the protective cover of the picture tube a polishing. And this is how it looks after roughly 20 minutes of polishing and cleaning. Not perfect by any means, but I would say still better than what it was. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there are some slight pittings in the plastic, and you only see them at a specific angle. Yeah, but you can see little pittings in the plastic, and I can't explain what caused those pittings, but my guess is the previous owner, or maybe owners, must have tried to clean this little screen protection shield with some very aggressive product. Or who knows, maybe they used the combo in an environment which was full of very aggressive or toxic chemicals or something like that, you know. Either way, the protective cover is not perfect, not by any means, but it is an improvement over what it was before. So the metal of the bezels felt rough, even after removing the paint with paint remover. So I ended up sanding especially the corroded places on the bezels with some abrasive sandpaper like this. Alright, so 1200 grit, and now they feel pretty smooth. But to remove the last imperfections on the surface of the metal, I'm going to give them a coat of primer, universal primer. Alright, and after that I'm going to give them a layer of silver paint, you know, like this one here. Alright, I'm placing back the dial faces of the combo little detail is that each faceplate has a little notch at the top, and there's a little tab protruding from the seat where it sits, okay? And let me show you. And as you can tell, there are some very narrow slots cut into the dial face. You can see one here, right there, okay? So, and that's where ultimately the tabs of the bezels, these silver color bezels, will fit. Alright, so I flattened them out more or less and carefully with pliers so that they can slide without too much force into those slots I showed you. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to reinsert this bezel and then bend the tabs back over so that they stay put. I adapted a small connector to release the picture tube deflection coil cables from the rest of the main PCB. Alright, and some of you might have wondered, yeah, but why even do the effort of making the effort of doing this? Well, I'll show you why exactly. So this is the bracket that holds the CRT clamped against the front of the combo, alright, against this space here. Now, to release this, I had to sort of bend and pull it hard over this edge of the CRT. Yeah, because these cables obviously were in the way. So now I don't really need to do that anymore. All I need to do now is slide this bracket over the picture tube like this. Alright, gently, and that's it, you know, just fish the cable through it, and voila, no more problems, and there you go, the bracket is in place. So it's that easy. So that's why I did this, well, amongst other things. So there you go. So the next thing I'm going to do is mount the picture tube back in here, and then I have to have a look at how to mount the main PCB, which is turning out quite a pain. So I'm not sure yet how I should mount it, but yeah. One question is finally answered. Another question I still have lingering in my mind. So I was wondering why the speaker end, so its butt end where the magnet is, so right there, had this little rubber padding. And I really kept wondering, why the hell would you do that if the speaker is resting on its face against the cabinet? Well, the short answer is because the picture tube, once it's in place, rests partially on that end. So they probably placed the little rubber piece in order to insulate the deflection coils from the metal of the speaker, but also to cushion the tube, the picture tube. Now, on the other hand, I just keep wondering why the engineers at, say, Crown designed the combo in such a way that there is a source of of a magnetic field, an external magnetic field, so close to the picture tube, if you know that that might influence the image quality. So yeah, okay, granted the magnet of the speaker is encapsulated in metal, so very little of the magnetism will radiate through the picture tube, but even so, I mean, it's not a very logical choice to make. So yeah, it's a bit weird. Well, you see, this is the point where it does pay off to connect the deflection coils, or I should say the wiring for the deflection coils, with little connectors. And now you see perfectly what I meant by the advantage of installing little connectors on, in this case, the wiring of the deflection coil. It makes installing back the picture tube a breeze. Okay, without this, I would have had to do really some contortionist moves to get the tube without damage into the cabinet. Alright, the whole combo has been reassembled, or almost so. The only thing I need to do is place back the bottom cover, and then we can give the combo a little run for its money and see whether it will function normally. One thing I can already tell now, that is that more than likely the tuning eye, which is this little LED right here, probably won't work. What I'm going to do next is run the radio on FM and AM and let you hear the result, and then show you how the picture is right now. Okay, but first of all I want to show you the result of the cleaning and restoration of the crown. And yeah, it took me the better part of 2 weeks. Of course, this isn't, I mean, the crown isn't exclusively what I've been busy with. Some of you might know I'm also working on my house. So yeah, in between working on my house and restoring the crown combo, yeah, I've been very busy. Okay, so let me show you the bottom side of the combo.